wait for everybody to come on. But I'm playing with what I see behind me and, whatnot. Okay. Hi, I'm Sandra Kay, and today I'm coming on just to, help take up some of my time. I usually have my little one, and I don't have her today or the rest of the week because of the holidays. But it's like I got my quilts back from the longarmer, and I have to get some binding put on quilts because the simple fact is I have no handwork to do. So I was going to show the quilts I got in the mail. There's the Christmas block swap one. And let me grab the list real fast. The top corner, opposite the snowman, this one right there, is from Laura. And then the next one is mine for the thing. Doing this backwards because everything is backwards. And then Pamela, the snowman's by Beth. The next row, starting with the small gift, Belle. And then Barb is the star. Maureen did the cardinal. And Susan did the other block that's, I think it's a disappearing 9 patch. Yes, it is. Next row, starting on that end, is Lisa. And then Barb, the green package, Charlotte, and then Belle. And these stars right here, it says it's Beth, and then Maureen, the tree, mine, the entwined star, and Laura. And then the bottom row, starting over there, Charlotte, Lisa, Susan, and Pamela. And I trimmed it with poinsettias, but hi Randy. But this sashing, I did the 3-strip sashing with the 9 patch block. Everybody said you did so much work on that. It's like, it was tiny. And then the border. And the backing is the same as the outside border, the red. So I'm gonna put this back up in the holder for a moment. So I can flip that over, or to the next one. One thing about it, I can just flip. Okay, now this is actually the back of this quilt. It was in the fat quarter shop. You just take your fat quarter, I think it was a 17-inch square, and you come over 3 inches from one side and down on the bottom diagonally, and then cut them, and then mix match the material, sew them together, and that was a quilt idea. Well, I did the quilt idea for the backing instead. I gotta try to slide this down, oops, a little bit. I'm trying to catch just the top of the thing so it doesn't fall over. I'm gonna flip this one over. And can't do that with a camera in your hand. And this is the Swoon 16, done with all Lori Holt calico. I hit a toy, so it's going to start talking. But you either need bigger wall space, taller ceilings to display some of these. And there's very little purple in this one, Randy, but there is some purple. These blocks are all the same. The Swoon 16. Every block's the same. It was supposed to have sashing, but I couldn't find any sashing I liked to go with it. So I ended up just putting the blocks side by side. I said I want it done. That's the main thing there. I wanted it done. So now we are going to travel to the sewing room. And by keeping it on me, the things behind me are moving. I didn't want to block everything off. And I was on a Zoom a little bit ago, and we was talking about the purple poo. So that's why it's on my neck. So now I'll get the chat up and whatnot and get that part of the day going. But how are you today, Randy? And I forgot I had a Christmas t-shirt embroidered. It says joy all around the snowflake. And then I didn't want just that, so I had a couple extra snowflakes put on. Hi, Cheryl, Randy, Darlene. Hi, Maureen. Did you see your blocks? You're doing great. A little purple is okay. Thank you. And yeah, I love Maureen's blocks on that. And Merry Christmas to everybody. And today, because of, I have nothing to do. It seems funny not having a little one under feet. So I am making the binding. Oh, it's like I did the Christmas block swap. That's the first quilt I showed. So in the replay, it's like I named whose blocks was what. It's like block swaps are fun. You just have to be patient with some of the ones that participate, but it's like I think all the block swaps have turned out beautifully. If the post office would just be cooperative. If you put them in a certain size envelope, then you have to pay the package price. And that's not fair. I don't think it's fair. And it's like, this is my first binding that I'm actually using striped fabric. I couldn't decide on a color, and I go, I bought this to use it, so just use it. So do you get to have, Maureen, do you get to have Christmas with your littlest one? My Christmas is over. We got together on Saturday. And I got the garden hose that was on my list. It's like, I was hoping somebody. Not yet. It's right behind this picture right here, Maureen. It's like part of my do not start, do not this. It's like, so I saved it for this coming year. I have to have everything done. It's on up there. And then where I've had this cough off and on since October. Hi, Kathy. Merry Christmas. Again. Kathy's on vacation, so I told everybody I would come on. Hi, Lisa. At 10 o'clock today. And it's just, you know, it's just another day for me. I'm going to go out and have French dip for dinner. Unless they call and say it's off. Because it's like Emily and little one is supposed to go over to the other side of the family. You know, you have to share your family with the other half. When they marry, there's a whole nother group in there. Casey said that you're going up north with me tomorrow, or Christmas, aren't you? And I says, nope. He says, you're not. I says, no, I'm going to stay home. I don't want to go up around other people that are sick. I'm trying to get rid of this. It's like, I don't want to keep it. So last night I cut these strips up. And I did the 45. So now I got to do all that trimming. Press a little bit and then I'll get it up and running. But 4 nights I've had nothing to do, no handwork. And I have to have something to do. It's driving me nuts. I took up a different hobby. It's called open up a bag of chips and then it seems to run out. Yes, Christmas blessings to everyone, Cheryl says. So in case you're away from the chat, you can hear it. Yes, it probably does, Kathy. It's like you're normally, because it's a part of your 4 days a week. Well, actually, you're 5 days, because you go on Gladys too. But it's like, I had little one yesterday, and she was full of it. When I left my live, she went out. I went out and started my lunch, and she caught the refrigerator door before it closed. So she was my little standing in the refrigerator. This refrigerator has enough space on the bottom that she could stand there, and she's playing on the shelves. There's not much in my refrigerator, but she rearranges the stuff on the door. But she's my little light girl. She goes in and turns the light off and on. So I got her out of the refrigerator, and I went over to lock the front door, screen door, storm doors, because it doesn't latch right now, and got to buy a new latch guts. And I come back, I turn around, and she's running. She grabbed my thread stand and stuff off here. It was still hooked in the sewing machine. She's out running in my living room. It's around the dog. It's around her as I'm trying to get it from her. She does a couple circles, but her arms have got thread on them, and she's all over the place. And I have to try to catch that little poo. And it's like, it was fun. It's like she had a blast. She's just running all over the place with that. When I said turn on the iron, I mean turn my body and turn it on. But it's like I'm using stripes for my binding. But I have to have something to do to keep my hands busy. I don't want to dig out the yarn because I don't want to start something I don't know what I'm really going to do. And I was going to crochet some more little, I did the octopus, was going to see if there's anything else I could crochet. But I'm so sick of that one commercial from the Woobles. It's on my phone, it's on my tablet, it's on my laptop. It's everywhere, that commercial. I'm just tired of that. So it's like, do I want to do that? Whatever, however you pronounce that. All I know is Emma something. It's like, Kathy has it. She has the Advent box. And they did a beaver, a llama, and I think an elf. Thank you. It's like, minus the purple poo. I had a friend embroider this, and the snowflake actually says joy around it several times. And then I had her add 2 snowflakes. So it's custom. Because I wear t-shirts all the time. The only thing I regret is the dark color and thread. It shows up. It's like, it shows up. I can live with it, but it's like I'm picking constantly. Oh, my rain quit. Supposed to have a high of 56 here today. It's like, you go back and you look at the pictures of the past. It's like, we're supposed to have white Christmas. I would even take a good old-fashioned frost. Yeah, t-shirts are easier. They're easier to wash, easier to deal with. You can pack them. You don't have to worry about pressing them when you get wherever you're going. And so I took the plain t-shirt and made it just a little bit fancier. But it's like, it was in a drawer in the other room, separate from the other shirts. And I forgot I have a Halloween one that's embroidered and long sleeve. She can't remember how to run her machine now. She had surgery because she had something growing, and it's like she's on epileptic medicine, but she had surgery to remove that, and she forgets some of the stuff, but she still goes out and drives. If I lived closer to her, I could force her into doing more, but she just sits and does nothing. She used to play Words with Friends, and I got so tired of it. We had 13 games of Words with Friends going to occupy her. Got a light ding, so I'll see what it is. Close all. There must be 12 Days of Christmas with Riley Blake Designs. But it's like, when I was going through this one thing that we get, it showed a picture of my grandkids out here, because I've been here so many years. 2008. See if I can get this up there close enough. Yeah, there's our snow. That was in 2008. That was one of our mild snows. We take the snow from the street and the sidewalks to make the snowmen, because we like having our grass untouched. And then anybody that came in late, I showed the 2 quilts. They're out front. It's like I showed 2 quilts. They're at the very beginning. So this is made. Now I have to, my binding, I did the 45 corners. All I do is fold it in half. I don't press it. I find something to wrap it on, even if it's a wooden block. I just take my binding and start wrapping it around on top of itself. It's like no pressing. Trying to make sure I get it on there. But you just fold your fabric to where the edges are touching. Just this little bit right here, wrapping it around, will press it enough that, because when you actually press your binding, when you go back to sew it, especially, I'm a hand stitcher of my binding. My binding goes on the first side and on the machine. All the rest of the bindings are done by hand. So I don't know, I have probably 6-7 hours of binding to do on this quilt after this part's done. But you know, a few nights watching, see, Cheryl puts John Wayne on, and she starts sewing away, because it's like, mine's usually Criminal Minds, or I'm chatting with other friends on Messenger, because we do actual like FaceTime, but Messenger Live or whatever we want to call it. I see some hearts coming up out of the side. That's one thing on doing this live this way, is I can't remove the heart. If I go to the laptop, I can take it off. But it's like I have no little one the rest of the week. But yesterday, after the live, it's like a friend shows up at 5:30. Yeah, it's this way is going to the store now. Okay. Okay, Maureen. Merry Christmas and enjoy your little one. Christmas is all about family. Family and friends, be together. It's like if I knew anybody that was not going with family and wanted to do something together on Christmas, that'd be fine with me. So it might be just Carrie and I. But, and then this, when you store your binding like this, Lisa, when it's all on here, I just slide that out, and it looks like I made a fancy cinnamon roll, is what I used to call them. But hand, you know, when you're sewing your binding down, I don't know if you do hand or machine, that pressed fold doesn't want to give, because when you take something that's firm this way and you press it this way, that press seam wants to be a little bit on the top. And this is a more softer, and it lays, to me, it lays 100% flatter. I have one of my YouTubes way at the beginning, but I found it's hard to find your YouTubes, you know, the ones that are there forever. You have to know the exact wording to go find them. I was trying to find one on Kathy's the other day. My We was all laughing because my chair, same cushion, would always let off air. And it always let off air at the wrong time when it was dead silent. Hi, Diane. Yeah, you're fine, even if you're a little late. I don't know why you didn't get the notice. Oh, matter of fact, I didn't get the notice either. Because my laptop should have notified me. Let's see. Nope. Not on my other tablet either. So, I machine sew front and hand sew the back. Okay. I think you will enjoy it more. It's like I didn't like going back having to press my binding. Yeah. Well, I normally get the notifications and I didn't get it on either my laptop or my other tablet. And when I get this wound up here, I'm going to plug in that one because I started in the other room. At the beginning of this, hi Northern Willows. Okay, you're welcome and Merry Christmas to you also. Little one isn't here today. Her Wednesday is Auntie Wednesday, unless Aunt has something to do. And then being it's Christmas Eve, Emily probably will get off work at noon. Hi, Courtney. I showed the quilts at the beginning. I just love my Christmas one. It's going to sit out on the couch for the rest of the couple days. And then maybe I'll get the binding on it. When my fingers are tired of doing the blind stitch. The gal yesterday that came here at 5:30, she was talking about chenille. And I says, well, a rag quilt is a kind of a chenille. Yes, they'll be on your replay. The Christmas quilt and the Swoon 16 quilt. And so you get to see both the front and the back. Randy was on for that. And there's very little purple in the Swoon 16. You just have to watch the first 5-7 minutes. And I told who the blocks were from on the Christmas block swap. One of my favorite quilts. I have to make the label. And on the label, I'm just going to draw a little graph and put the names of who is which block. Just the first names. Because it isn't going to matter on last names later. And Melinda's just looking forward to inheriting some of the quilts. She goes, will it fit my queen size bed? I says, no, it's a throw. Tomorrow's your 65th birthday? Well, Merry Christmas and happy birthday, huh? You'll be 65? I can't remember back to 65. Well, 65 is when the great-grandkids started. All my blocks on the Swoon 16 is all from just certain fat quarters. No long arms still? Courtney's getting to where she wants to get some of hers done. Because my oldest great-grandchild, they're both 5, so I would have had just before my 65th birthday, I became great grandma. So I had 2 attending my 65th birthday. I can't turn back time. And if I did, I'd do it the same as I did anyway. I forget who else. They watched me do this binding. And now that's the only way they do their binding. Oh yeah, Cheryl's is the 20th Saturday. She's at that year I don't like. But if I'll try and remember, Cheryl. I better write that down. Send you a message anyway. But happy birthday if I forget. Okay, yeah, the one that you sent me a picture of. So far today I've marked the binding, was on a Zoom, and left the Zoom to come do the live. I haven't had breakfast or anything yet. And how long are you going to stay out in the sewing room? It's like Courtney and I can get together also. It's like only a little bit to go. And you know, this, no burnt fingers. But it's like when I have my binding for a quilt, when I hang the top up, I'm in the house sewing by myself. Okay. Because she has a portable machine too. Slide it down. Oops. Like you can't see what I'm doing. I just sat it on the tabletop, pull the piece out, and then I put 1 pin in the end of it, and then when I use it, okay, that's good. The oldest for a baby. And then you can take from right in the middle, you pull out your center, and I just sit this over by the machine, and I pull it, and every once in a while you have to spin it. But it's like I couldn't decide on a color to really put on this one. So it's like I decided to do the funky stripes. You only get to see a little bit of it, but it covers every flower color that's out in the front. There's purples and blues, and of course there's white, there's pinks. It's like when we was folding these things up yesterday, when the friend was looking at them, it's like she goes, she's trying to fold them little tiny. That Swoon 16, Diane, is very, very easy. When you get the one going, I got another new subscriber. Well, thank you. It looks like it says Jody. If you're in listening, Jody, welcome and join the chat. And I always sew to the front and flip hand sew to the back. That way I get the perfect front, because the back can be a little bit off. But I really enjoyed swoon, and I passed the pattern down to Courtney. She goes, "Is it easy?" I says, "Yes, it is very easy." And the cutting is actually really easy. And then that backing that I put on mine, I put about 8 inches on my overlap. I always start in either the top or bottom, middle, just like when I start sewing it on. And then they say do 1/4 of an inch. I do 3/8 of an inch. I do over 1/4. I want the binding needs to be completely full. If your binding's not full, it'll wear faster. But I just look at the quilting that's on these, and it's like, it's amazing. But the Swoon 16 was actually one of the fastest but the biggest block I've ever made. I'm not a big block fan, but the Swoon 16 has got so many pieces on it that is like, I enjoyed it. And then it's like I always get out there a little ways, and then I fold to make sure that it's going to go where I want it to be. But one other gal has showed this one time that I know of, and I said, well, I'm glad you're still using the technique I showed you. And she goes, I couldn't remember who showed, but she says that's the only binding I do now. It's like this old machine. I know I'm probably going to have to break down and buy a different machine, but I'll stick with off the shelf. It's like, I'm not picky. It's like the other one did like almost 80 quilts. Can't tell you how many pairs of jeans. It's like, on the Swoon 16, if I remember right, they have a little picture of the fat quarter, exactly how to cut it, where each piece goes. If you follow that, you will have I think it's just enough. My fat quarters was not 18. My fat quarters were 17. So one that was 17. It was in range from 17 to 18. And this was a bundled fat quarter bundle. Came from a reputable place. And it's like I had so many different sizes, it was unreal. I actually had to sew 2 of the little pieces together to get one of my blocks. And then I had to make sure that, where I used it was not going to stand out. But it's like a fat quarter should be 18 inches. I think if I was the one cutting the fat quarters, I'd be giving everybody 18.5 inches. On one of the shop hops I did years ago, the blocks were supposed to, finished blocks was 18.5. The row by row. They was either 9.5 inch row or 18.5 if you did the big square, because it needed to come out at the 9 or 18. Well, for the back to applique on, they give us a fat quarter. Fat quarters are only 18. And then it wasn't a 18 fat quarter, it was a 17.5. So it's like, good thing I didn't applique everything on it before I noticed it. So I had to go buy some fabric to fix their oops. Yes, I did a light starch on mine too, and that shortens them. You're using a Cape bat. Yeah, I know you buy from Jordan's. And the way he stacks them, watching him, it's like they should be all the same, because it seems like that machines he has cuts quite a few. It's like, mine's the light starch magic, I think it is. Yeah, Faultless Magic Light. It's actually what they consider sizing. It's like, you can put it on to where it's a lot or a little. Here, I'm in my purple corner here. There's purple there, purple here, purple there. On this pressed flowers from the Fat Quarter shop, I did with the, I think it was 4 fat quarters that you could use for flowers and 3 for the greenery. Well, with what I had left, it was enough. I could put them together in different spots. There's a strip left of every fat quarter that I could use it for the border. And then I also used them, because the border and the settings, like this one here, and then the 4 one. See, I gotta find a 4. There, intersection of 4. You were supposed to put these all in one color. These were supposed to be the same color as the border. Well, mine are. It's just scrappy. And it's just, oh, I was supposed to plug in that tablet. But I use up all the scraps I can. And then I took the rest of the scraps to make it longer. I have a pinwheel border. To make it, because I want the length to be at least 95. And because, your queen size beds are 80, so that gives a 15-inch drop. But it's like, if I wouldn't have added all this extra, that's 14 inches. It would barely cover a twin size bed. And I like mine to be used and to be able to be tucked. But I used all the other scraps, making all these pinwheels in different sizes. And a lot of these came from cutting off of different spots. Off of the petals, off of the leaves. Everything goes in I use a bowl. They're bowls or storage things. I just have it sitting around, and all the spare pieces get thrown because I've been doing so many of these, using up the little pieces on the side. And my voice is starting to crack on me. So dry. I always check to make sure if anybody sends me a picture that I can show it. Oh, her Irish chain, 61 by 61. She has her borders to go. I like that she mixed up the colors. That's Cheryl's Irish chain. And Kathy does like Best Press. I have one little bottle of it. Got it, won it as a prize on a shop hop. But that $6.95 bottle versus the less than $3 can at the time I was buying them. And then I buy them 12 at a time from a supply place. All this fabric was lightly pressed. Try to do the same degree. My background on this is a white on white with swirls. It's Kimberbell Basic swirl. Because that Kimberbell Basic swirl will be there whenever I need it. Because they redo that one constantly. But Austin got his fleece cut, the no-sew fleece. He got that one done tied yesterday while he was at work. And he had to show several ladies how to do it. So they was all going to go see if they could find some fleece. And they go, that'd be the perfect present for so-and-so. So he said he would help them. That's his third one. I think he's done now. His other fleece, we was trying to keep it as wide as we could. And when you cut into 6 inches of your that's about 8 months. Okay. I spray with an old method cleaning spray bottle. Very little overspray. I've seen a lot of people that they go to the hardware store and they get the weed sprayer bottle that you pump up and they put their stuff in. And that way they can just wand spray it over top of it. But they have a small one for plants. For like when you need to mist a plant. I've seen where people buy that one to put their homemade starch that they mix. The one starch, I don't know if I would It's like, does it gum up the spray nozzle like it does the white stuff. Hi, June. Merry Christmas. As I find little threads, I pick them off. So I'll be wearing them after it's over. I'll be picking. But my house is so quiet. I can hear the battery operated clock in my bathroom ticking. So unless I'm sewing, I can hear tick, tick, tick. Cheryl, decisions. Square quilt or rectangle? I like rectangle. Outside border or borders. This is a donation quilt for cancer auction, so it doesn't have to be a bed size. Oh, yeah. I still like the rectangle because we're taller. And if we use it for a lap quilt, then it covers our feet. That's why I do rectangles. Just to let you know. It's like, we probably agree. And my other thing is, if it's not usable, why did I take the time to make it? So rectangle I would do. I got to make up a bunch of more pinwheels out of the ones that go with the entwined star, because I'm going to put snowflakes in between. And then I'm thinking about maybe on point, because on point would make it bigger, and then put all the pinwheels in those on point blocks. It'd be different. But those blocks have been hanging around. It's like the Christmas quilt was actually started in, I think, 23 to be finished for 24, but it's like it didn't get finished till 25. That'll work perfectly, Cheryl, if you got some of the 4 patches left, which we usually always do. See, this is one thing about our family that gets together on this, because I call you guys all my family. You can bounce things off of each other. You can give your opinion. It's like, all you have to do is type your opinion. I was trying to remember the name of the gal that this fabric's from. I really like her. It's not a calico, but it's got more things that would look like a calico. This fat quarter bundle was also given to me as a gift. I just had to buy the background color. I'm really thrilled with this one. You will have it quilted and bound before the end of the year. You'll have it done. No doubt about it. Even if you took your birthday off for no sewing. It's like, I don't think I'm going to have all 3 of these quilts, the binding hand sewed by the end of the year. This is the first one because it came in first. But see, my bundle is still nice here. Figure better update you on how the binding's coming on that side. Hi, Carrie. And it's like, Carrie was chatting with me when I was cutting these last night. I says, I got to figure out how many strips. And she goes, I'll try and guess. I just seen where I did a oops in my cutting here. I can only blame myself. Sometimes the ruler slides because it's nice and soft. I don't put heavy weight on the grippers. But it's like, without you guys, what would we have to, you know, we get ideas. We learn things from different YouTubers. So if you don't show and carry out, like here, this binding, it's a new way of putting the binding together. So you got to show the effect that it has. And you guys can't see on that part of the machine. Kathy's finding emojis even. Kathy's probably sitting in the living room with a game on her lap. Okay, I always I put the needle down, head it down first. That way it doesn't take off on me, the thread. And like I said, I'm sewing 3/8, so it fills the binding. So it's like, how many celebrate their big meal today and how many do tomorrow? Kathy's going to have hers today because when you open your gifts one gift at a time, it does take, June's is tomorrow. Mine was Saturday. It's like, mine's over. Someday I will remember. But I've learned a lot with like this quilter, longarmer. It's like she puts the detail in the white to make the little pinwheels pop. All the pinwheels, there's no quilting whatsoever done on the actual color. Lisa's is tomorrow. Carrie will have pizza together. Except for I have to go get mine out of the freezer. Hi, Gisela. And everyone in chat, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you because you're closer. Hi, Jennifer. Gisela's just about ready to go for her sleep and to wake up for Christmas. Did you get all your cookies made? Jennifer has to take a break from house renovations, rejuvenations. It's like for the holidays. I'm getting almost down to the another bottom, so I did almost over half the quilts done. Doesn't seem like I should be that far around it, but I'm back at the pinwheels, so pinwheels are on the bottom and top. To get my rectangle, the gal goes, "Why did you make it so long?" I says, "Because I want it to fit on a bed. I want the overhangs to be about the same." It's like I handed her the pieces and she sewed together her queen size quilt. We had our big day today and all the family was here and I'm very tired now. Cookies were all made and we had lots of food and I managed to get everything done in time. That is good, Gisela. So you're exhausted. You're going to sleep well tonight. Probably not, but get caught up on the sleep and relax tomorrow. She's 9 hours different from us. So she is thinking about a movie with her hubby or bed, one of the two. She's getting close to those decisions here. I have some different fabrics that I need to get put into bags. But it's finishing the UFOs. I made a deal with myself. I got to do UFOs. One gal said she did 25 finishes for 2025. And she's gonna, I says, "So you're gonna do 26 finishes for 2026? And she says, "Finishes or starts?" I says, "Well, heck, I could probably do 2026 starts and finishes. I could start everything in that I want." So it's like, that's not a good, because it starts and finishes 26. I don't want 26 more UFOs. So I'm going to continue on my no buy unless I need. And I'm hoping Marshall Dry Goods starts getting some of their fabric back in. But they can only get it back in as fast as the manufacturer makes it. But this is just making me think of spring because it's so bright and airy. And all the flowers and floor. This doesn't have, this is little squares and circles. This green one over here reminds me of a kind of a snowflakes. But my binding's still nice and pretty. My pin is now protruding through, so I have to rearrange that because I'm having to unsnag every time it comes to it. But if I make my binding ahead with the quilt, I just put it in a sandwich bag. put a hole in the top of the sandwich bag, put it on the hanger with the quilt top. But my oldest working UFO is from the 1980s. And it got hand embroidery from my grandmother. She was supposed to be teaching me, but I had a life change with my son being diagnosed with cancer, so Grandma didn't wait for me. It's like she was supposed to. I did one stitch too much. I'm just gonna go in there and clip that one stitch so I can get that bias binding folded over like it's supposed to be. Sometimes I misjudge my quarter inch, 3/8 inch. Meatballs, 2 kinds of onion rolls, 2 kinds of red cabbage, brown cabbage, ribs, Brussels, you can keep the Brussels sprouts, cabbage, and 2 kinds of broth for the bread, soaked chanterelles, stew, Christmas sausage, smoked salmon. That sounds good. Now the cheeses I can forget. Lactose intolerant. Cheese is not me. But the smoked salmon on crackers, I love it. Something I haven't bought. I usually buy a can of Kipper Snack at least once a year. It's like, my husband hated it. He hated the smell. Oh, I can tell you some stories. Mike Casey, it's a wonder he's still alive, that his dad didn't kill him. It's like, Kipper Snack. Definitely a fishy smell when you open the can. And we always had to go outside to eat it. So one night, we was outside eating it, and Casey, he come over because we was done. He dipped his fingers in the can of the juicy stuff that's left in the can. He went in and he put it like perfume behind his dad's ear. Larry slept that sound that he did not even know the kid came in his room. And then all of a sudden, you know, it's like 15, 20 minutes later, it's like he starts yelling, "You're supposed to eat that stuff outside." And I said, we did. I said, the cans in the garbage, everything, outside. He says, well, it doesn't smell that way. Casey, he starts laughing his full head off. And it's like, then I knew what Casey had done. He had done something with that. But he used to sit the whole can on the headboard. It's like, that kid would do anything to get his dad's goat. And it's like, he goes, you know, so Larry's up looking for the can, because the time before it was on the headboard. And Casey's still just laughing. And he goes, where did you hide the can? It's like, he says, I didn't. The can's in the garbage. Mom told you. He says, well, it sure smells like it's hidden in here. He says, you're going to go have to either take a shower or wash your neck well. He says, I put it on you as perfume. It didn't take long for Casey to take off running outside, because it was safer to be outside at the time. But yeah, he had to give his dad the after, he called it aftershave. He said, "You're lucky I only put a fingerful." You want to sew? Well, tomorrow, start your new year. See, I left Casey's house without bringing any leftovers home. It's like, I don't need the leftovers. Yeah. I was amazed they didn't make a... Normally they make the potatoes that they have so many, it's unreal. We had to ration out this year. Because Miss Delaney, she loves peas. You make 3 different cookies at least. See, could I even come up with 3 cookies? Sugar cookie and snickerdoodle. That's my cookies. And I can't make snickerdoodles right now. Cream of tartar outdated. So if I make cookies, it'd be just a sugar cookie with a very light icing. I used to be able to find it every once in a while in the Betty Crocker section, the cookie mix for snickerdoodles. But I don't, they must not be making it anymore. Because then I don't have to go buy the cream of tartar. And here lately, because I can't sleep with beans, I've been watching different candy. There's 2 candy stores. One that's in another country and then one that's in the United States. And to watch them make the peanut brittle, and when they add the... Yes, the cream of tartar is what makes the snickerdoodles do that crack. Just like the baking soda is what makes the peanut brittle be thin and crunchier. It's 2 things. You can't make peanut brittle without baking soda, and snickerdoodles without cream of tartar. Melinda, when she lived nearby, every once in a while would make snickerdoodles and bring them to her mom, but she doesn't live close enough. And then I seen snickerdoodle, they put it in a bar pan and just made it, that way you don't have to do the rolling and whatnot. They made them on like a brownie on a bar pan. But I don't know if you can freeze the farmer cookies with almonds and coconut cookies and a other kind. We call them chewy cookies. And my sugar cookies, when I make them, they have to be just not dry and hard, but they have to be cooked. And then very, very light icing. My great-grandkids, when they frosted the sugar cookies this year, they got a little carried away. There was lots of frosting and lots of sprinkles. I think I had one from each great-grandkid that was frosting cookies, which was 3 of them. And I had to sneak the frosting off. because it was so much frosting. Hi, Denise, you made it. It's still morning for me. Oh, it's after 11. I've been on for over an hour. I have nothing else to do, so. This year we didn't make gingerbread cookies, but the docent's son loves to eat it. Okay. Bye, Kathy. Okay, you'll leave it running. Tell Jen and Dave Merry Christmas and enjoy your dinner. But how's Denise today? It's like I stayed on. I'm not done. I worked on I made the binding, cut it, folded it, wrapped it, whatever we want to call this. There's no pressing. I got one width of fabric left, and I'm at the bottom part. And enjoy the rest of your holiday, Gisela. Oh, please thumbs up, everybody. Boy, she picked the pale pink hand there, huh? I had to go look and see what that was. Oops, I think I went one stitch too far. I'll find out in just a minute. I think Gisela's husband's Michael. Tell your hubby Merry Christmas from all of us over here too. Okay. Get this corner folded down, lined up. Fingers holding threads down. I don't want to rethread my needle. I told everybody I had to redo everything anyway. Little Miss Delaney took off running with the thread and the spool stand. I ended up throwing about 6 feet of thread away. It was so wrapped around. Between the dog and Delaney and the furniture and the thread stand, I had thread everywhere. Okay. Bye, Gisela. Merry Christmas. Well, I might as well take my pin out because I'm at the end of it. I do 2 1/4 inch binding. And then I sew in 3/8 of an inch. It fills the binding perfectly for the up and over and the hand stitching. And then I will use from Gisela, she sent me several purple variegateds. So I will do the hand stitching, the blind stitch, and the purple variegated. Because you're supposed to stitch it with the color of your binding. Normally this binding calculator always gives me an extra piece. I did just as it said again, and this time it's going to be cutting it right there. Anybody working on some last minute Christmas? Or did everybody get their projects done? My Christmas cards, I worked right up Friday night, midnight. No, I worked Friday night, midnight. The cross-stitch cards was done for my 3 kids because they had to dry overnight. I had to make sure they was dry and not going to come apart. Putting the pin in, I do about 7-8 inches away. I can't do that 5 inches away, 3 inches away. And the foot's too long. And the foot is too long. Back tack. Elbow protectors. Is she hurting her arms a lot? We talked the other day, but it's like all this quilt fell down over in Delaney's area where that box is. My neighbors parked half in my driveway and half in theirs. Okay, the middle is right about there. So go right there. I have this piece of the binding left. And I can't find my one ruler. I don't know what happened to it. My 2.5 by 6.5. It's like Delaney uses it a lot. I guess I'm going to have to use the big long one here. Because I need it to be on this side. I set my ruler on there and my 2.25. And then I just have to snip right along where the ruler is. And this is the length I have left. Just carpal tunnel in one elbow. Okay. I was watching something on TV the other day that they were talking about the tarsal in the foot. Because I've had tarsal tunnel surgery on one foot. I had a where is this? Oops. At carpal, yes. I know what you're saying, June. 2.25. Find my 2.25 over here. They say, press it back on itself is the best way to get that. When you don't have a roller that isn't going to cooperate. There's that. The only thing is I can't see the fold very well. So now when I lay this one this way, this one over top, bottom one lays and heads to the left, top one goes on top and heads south. My family's out running around. It started raining, sprinkling again. But at 48 degrees, there's no chance of snow. And then I always pull these up, put a pin in it so I can sew that. Ouch. Never, don't poke your finger. Take some of the extra stress off of the piece. Go in there. The weight of the quilt's sitting on the table. Needle down. I'm even going to take the stitch one smaller. Remember where I set the scissors. Oh, I hung them back up. And always test it before you do any trimming. Always test. That way, if you did it wrong, you have a chance to put it right. You can't fix it after the fact, unless you want to add material. So now I just finger press this one. And quite often, put a pin in it for right now. Get everything repositioned. Needle up, needle down. Make sure everything is sitting right. Get started so it can't move, because anything can walk anymore. Make sure the seam's folded down the correct way. And I always sew back up and over. I overdo, but it's like I've taken no chances. Binding done. My night projects. One night project done. So now I don't put any clips on. When I start it, I always start in one corner. And then, being the bulk on one side is over here, I want the bulk of the other side over here. So I always tack that one down. And then that way when I get back around, your bulk, one side has got the bulk and the other side's got the bulk. So the corner isn't as full. But I always start in this corner and work my way around. I got a few strings to clip off. Scissors stay beside me as I'm doing it. When I do the binding, I'm definitely covered with threads. And then if I see any that's out in the quilt, one way or the other, that needs trimmed, everything can be trimmed. But I'm going to use purple variegated. A lot of people, they'll take and dig out those clips. I've yet to put a clip on. Sometimes I will have 2 pins when I get the next corner set up, when I get near the corner, because it's opposite. When you get to the corner, the one that's I'm working on is the one that needs to be on top. To always end up with one or 2 pins. So I pin the lower down. And then I flip the other corner over. And I stitch back up to that corner. That's usually the only pins I use, is to make sure that my corners are mitered right. And I can't do that with the clips as well. And I always try to end where the point's just a little under the material. So that way the corners get all set up. But how's everybody else doing? And anything special for your meals? Family traditions? It's just one of those things that we just continue on our lives. And now that I'm older, I sure don't like traveling. I don't like the traveling. But I want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas. And travel safe if you're traveling. And the other thing, don't overeat, but take baggies with you and bring leftovers home. That way you don't have to cook for a couple days. It's like, I love bringing, if they have fresh dinner rolls, I like bringing little ham sandwiches home, or little turkey, enough turkey and that for little sandwiches. I'm going to press up some more flowers. It's like, Denise, you're gonna, Merry Christmas to everyone, says June. Merry Christmas, Diane, and everybody, yes. I was glad that I could come on and take up some of our time today. It's earlier than I normally go on, but it's like, I adapt. But I wanted not to interfere with anybody's dinners. And Cheryl, it's like she's probably figuring out her next, adding their link to it, if she doesn't already have it on there. But everybody have a very Merry Christmas. And enjoy your family. Enjoy the family. Family time. That's why I would normally just, nope. I'm not going away for dinner. Austin, the ones of us that live in town, Casey and his family will go north about 180 miles for their Christmas dinner. Every other year, they're with her family for Christmas. And then if they're there for Thanksgiving, they're here for Christmas, and vice versa. It rotates. Those are the two holidays that rotate. But they came down for my family Christmas Saturday. They was here. I don't know why. They just come down for the day. Unless it's probably because Nora was here. Come to think of it, it's like, go back and think, Sandra. It's because Nora was here. Because Nora's back in Florida. Her roommate didn't want to leave the cats by themselves for the holidays. I says, one thing about cats, you can leave them for 3 to 7 days. And as long as you have enough litter boxes and food placed. And no, they're not going to be home alone. So she had to cancel the rest of her Christmas here to go back there and be by herself. Her and her college friends. But no, we're having French dip for dinner tonight. So I'm going to go out and have French dip, and if they have enough, I'll bring one home for my dinner tomorrow. So I'll be sewing. I'm going to try to get the binding on the other 2 quilts. At the beginning of this one, everybody, if you go back and watch the first 5 to 7 minutes, you'll see the 3 quilts, or 2 quilts. Because my Christmas, I've had it. I had my Christmas with my family. That was all Saturday. I got pictures of the 6 great grandkids under the tree. I forgot before I left out there, so I called back and had Melinda take the pictures. But trying to get 6 little ones there's 4 pictures and somebody else is looking. Typing on the phone is terrible. Because does it have that little drag thing on it? It's like that little drag thing. I come out with some of the weirdest words ever on my phone. Words I've never heard of. And it can come up with them. Yeah. And a lot of people actually watch these YouTubes all on the phones. Yes. It is hard to celebrate without somebody else, Diane. It's very hard to celebrate. My husband was the biggest Scrooge. But it's like, it's still, you're by yourself. It's like, you got to think of what you're going to do. But it's like, my family does, they can't believe I'm happy. I got my garden hose. Because it's an expense I have to do in the spring. So it's sitting in my living room, my garden hose. It's so pretty wrapped up in the factory roll. And I actually store my hose in the 5-gallon bucket. So I always end up doing that curl that it's in back into the 5-gallon bucket. That's how I store it in the winter. Takes up less space that way. Because I don't hang it on a hose hanger. That's hard on hoses. But my one hose, I can't tell you how many years old it is. Probably 30. It catches on anything and it puts a hole in it. So then I have $30 worth of hose fixers. You're going to do the song sparrow? I have no want or desire to do the song sparrow. And it's not on my list, so I can't do it. My list, wherever it went to, I have to move the 25s that didn't get done over to 2026. So it's like my to-do list is the chicken quilt needs borders, the embroidered quilt needs borders, the purple black rag quilt, I'm waiting for the fabric to come available. I have 2 Valentine table runners over here, 2 St. Patrick Day table runners. I got 2 Christmas table runners to get done. So those all get moved over to the 2026. So anything that isn't done. And then when they come back from the quilters, then I put on the binding. But it's like I can't get a backing for the one because the one I wanted's out of stock right now. So I'm hoping to get it all back in. But everybody have a very joyous holiday. Lil's out walking in the snow. I don't have snow. So everybody have a very Merry Christmas, and I'll see you not Thursday. I might. I don't know. That's Christmas, and that would be right in the middle of your Christmas day. So maybe I'll come on Friday. Maybe I'll come on Friday instead of Thursday. Does that sound better for everybody? Unless you're doing that, all the exchanges. So I'll see you guys probably Friday. Merry Christmas, everybody. Bye.